Good evening. I'd like to call this special emergency call meeting for the city of San Juan at 5:15 p.m. Mr. Rona?
Yes, sir. Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon, attorneys, staff, community members. Um, The City of San Juan Mayor will be declaring disaster and public health emergency due to the coronavirus. This declaration by the mayor that is about to read was made pursuant to the Texas Disaster Act of 1975. The Texas Disaster Act of 1975 appoints the Mayor Garza as the Emergency Management Director for the city, Chief Garza as the Management Coordinator, and myself as a PIO. This will allow us to authorize the use, or allows the mayor to authorize the use of all available resources to assist in the city's response to the public health emergency related to coronavirus. Having said that, Mayor, before you have the proclamation in front of you, and there's a couple of options that we can go. And this one, because we have a quorum, the recommendation is that we go for 14 days. If there was not a quorum, then we'll go for 7 days. However, there's a quorum, so I'd like to declare, Mayor, you consider the 14 days on this.
Yes, sir.
So I'll read the presentation. It says the San Juan City Commission is calling an emergency meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.0445, regarding threat of public health, coronavirus disease, which is a COVID-19, update and declare the City of San Juan as a state of disaster and local health emergency. Mayor, in front of you and commissioners in front of you, you have the proclamation. If you may read it, Mayor.
December 2019, novel coronavirus was designated COVID-19 was detected in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China. Symptoms of COVID-19 include fever, cough, runny nose, sore throat, shortness of breath. Outcomes have ranged from mild to severe illness, pneumonia, and in some cases death. And whereas in January 2020, the World Health Organization Director General declared the outbreak of COVID-19 as a public health emergency, international concern, advising countries to prepare for the containment, detection, isolation, and case management, contact tracing, and prevention of onward spread of the disease. And whereas on Wednesday, March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization declared the crisis is now a pandemic after it has affected nearly 120,000 people around the world and killed 4,300. 1,267 cases have been confirmed in the United States, and whereas those with symptoms who have traveled or have been in contact with an individual has traveled to a country that has corona cases confirmed with the last 2 weeks and urged to see their physicians, and whereas March 13, 2020, President Trump declared a state of emergency due to COVID-19 and was invoked the Stanford Act, which allows state and local government to access federal disaster relief funds. And whereas to date, there have been 134 confirmed positive cases in Texas and 2 deaths. And whereas pursuant to the Texas Disaster Act of 1975, the mayor designed as the emergency management director of the city of San Juan and may exercise the powers granted to the governor on an appropriate local scale. And whereas a declaration of local disaster and public health emergency includes the ability to reduce the possibility of exposure to disease, control the risk, promote the health, compel persons to undergo additional health measures that prevent or control the spread of the disease, including the provision of temporary housing or emergency shelters for persons misplaced or evacuated, and request assistance from the governor of state resources. And whereas by this declaration of disaster and public health emergency, I declare all rules and regulations that may inhibit or prevent prompt response to this threat suspended for the duration of the incident. And whereas I, Mario Garza, the mayor of the city of San Juan, determine the extraordinary and intimate measures must be taken to respond quickly, prevent the suffering of people exposed to and those affected with the virus, as well as those could potentially be impacted by COVID-19. Now therefore be proclaimed by the mayor of San Juan. 1, that a local state of disaster and local health emergency is hereby declared of the city of San Juan pursuant to the Texas Disaster Act 1975 and Texas Government Code 418.018A. 2, pursuant to 418.018B of the Texas Government Code, the state of disaster, the public health emergency shall continue for a period of not more than 14 days from the date of this declaration unless continued or renewed by the City of San Juan Commission. Number three, pursuant to 418.018C, the Texas Government Code, this declaration of a local state of disaster shall be given prompt and general publicly and shall be filed promptly with the city secretary. Pursuant to 418.018D, the Texas Government Code, this declaration of a local state of disaster activities, the City Emergency Management Plan. Five, pursuant to 418.020C of the Texas Government Code, this declaration authorizes the city to commander or the use of any private property temporarily acquired by lease or other means sites required for temporary housing units of emergency shelters for evacuees subject to compensation requirements. Six, pursuant to 122.066 of the Health and Safety Code, this declaration authorizes the city to take any actions necessary to promote health and suppress disease, including quarantine and regulating hospitals from the city, San Juan, and finding those who do not comply with the city's rules. Seven, this declaration should take effect immediately from and after its issuance. Ordered this the 18th day of March 2020. At this time, I'll go ahead and sign this proclamation for the record. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Servo.
There's been a motion, there's been second by Commissioner Neto Guajardo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, and just, if I may, just for information, there hasn't been any confirmed cases here in Hidalgo County, or Cameron, or Stark County, just for the piece of our mind's sake.
Latest update?
Yes, sir. There hasn't been any confirmed cases here in our county nor surrounding counties.
I guess obviously, we've been all keeping up with the national and state news as far as what's going on with this epidemic. It's something serious that's happening all over the nation, pretty much all over the country. And it's something we really need to take serious about. And also we, here at the City of San Juan, we want to take a proactive approach, okay? So I ask all the directors, all the staff, I ask the commission, we really need to, get together here maybe every other day or maybe once a week just to keep, in tabs with our Chief Tiso and Chief Gonzalez in reference to where this, if any, hopefully we cross our fingers that nothing comes our way, but we just got to be prepared. I know as far as on the city aspect, we are going to do some changes, and I'm letting the directors know so that way you can, let your staff know. I'm going to get with Mr. Arjona and Chief Tiso and also Chief Gonzalez as far as I know all our first responders, police and fire, you guys, I appreciate all the hard work you're doing for us and protecting our community. That is going to, continue normal, daily, but as far as the city hall, we talked about doing some changes there as far as having people walking in, paying their bills. Now we're going to have to maybe turn to where they have to go to the drive-through and make their payments. Planning and zoning permits, I know, I don't know what your recommendation is,
What
sir.
we can do is we can, they can email the permits, we can do them electronic,
Okay.
so that they don't have to come in, email them to us and we'll review them.
But my concern is those that don't have access to any email accounts or any access to computers, can they still go
Yes, sir.
and
And we talked about already with Mr. about making some exceptions as well. So not everybody has computer access, so those that don't have computer access will need to come into the city hall. But
A lot of the public, it's minimal that they're gonna be coming. They know
Okay.
that the
what they
COVID-19, so they might not all come in as they would have in the past. So, but we will make those exceptions.
I mean, Mayor.
go ahead, sir.
Chief Garza, wouldn't it be best to pause on any of those permits going out at all? I mean, people that are gonna be going house to house or whatever for garage sales, yard sales, shouldn't we just put a halt to it at this time? Mhm.
And I agree with that. Like, I agree as well, Mr. Arjona. And anything else moving forward, well, we'll be on a constant up to date as far as any changes we need to make as far as our payments, whatever it may be making as a commission decides in the future moving forward.
Right.
What's the time frame on that? When's our next meeting? It would be,
Well,
we can decide that as a board,
as far as making payments, most definitely, there's a meeting at the next Tuesday.
okay?
We can
That's,
discuss that
that's
as
the
well.
earliest,
So one of the plans that we have is meet every Friday to see, has it escalated, has it remained the same? And if it escalated, then we'll make some changes, bring it before the board, or just communicate them to you via text or email.
and then we'll have all that available through
Right.
our IT, right, and all our
And that's,
immediately to
that'll
get out to
be,
the public.
yes, that'll be something that we will need to blast on our Facebook, our web page, or social media,
Okay.
more than anything.
And the reason I'm asking, because, I mean, every day something else is changing.
That's right.
So what we're saying today might not be the same thing tomorrow.
Right.
And, you know, so long as we're able to
Right.
adapt to everything, we'll be all right.
Now, if there needs to be, if we do see a significant difference of what's happening, then I think we need to call for another meeting. But at this time, I just maybe ask that you communicate with all the directors and make sure that everyone's on par and having good communication, so that way they can trickle it down to their staff. And,
Right.
and that way we're all on the same page and we're ready in case, God forbid, you know, like I say, but if anything happens to come our way, then we'll be ready. Okay? Any other comments? Any other questions for the directors this time? Do you guys have any questions for us or for Mr. Arjona? I mean, is there anything you're concerned about? Mary, Salinas, anybody? I mean,
Been in communication with Chief and Mr. Arjona. They've been meeting with us and keeping us
good,
updated.
good. Let me ask Chief Gonzalez, in reference to any citizens going to meet with you or going to pay any type of citations or getting records of, you know, police reports, how are you guys handling that?
Yes, Mayor, I met with my staff already on that, and on the recommendation of the chief and city manager, is that we already made some changes in the department. We are taking reports over the phone, non-essential reports that we don't have to interact with the public or the citizen. They call in the police department, and our officers are doing those reports through the phone. Those reports that require us to be have interaction and do a little bit more investigative work, we actually go into those calls for service. But we have limited the access in our lobby and our people coming in. So we already posted that if they need reports and stuff like that, they can email us or contact us, and we can send the report. Also, we're notifying them that they can actually get their police reports, especially accident reports, which is the number one type of report they seek most of the time. They can get it online, and we're making that accessible to them as well.
Good deal.
As well as, last thing, as well as, I know, I spoke with, you know, our courts as well. Our courts is doing, okay.
Yes, sir.
Pay the fines online, right?
We've already got that set up. I know
Yeah.
Mr. Hernandez had explained that to me earlier, so it's a
Yeah.
good deal. Okay.
Mr. Arjona, if we can, if it's possible, if you can send us those changes, any changes, and as far as the day-to-day,
Okay.
we can be aware of what's going on. That way, if we get a call, we know what to answer. Because
We'll
sometimes,
send them to you.
like today, I had a pastor calling me, and of course, I'm going by what was based
Right.
at the last meeting, and so I just want to make
And-
sure if there's any changes.
And
that we need to-
there was a little bit of confusion on that, because at one point it was at 50 congregating in one building,
Right.
and then it went down to 10, and then yesterday at the conference that we had at the county, it was at 50 now. So that's why a lot of times it was like, well, is it 50, is it 10? Well, let's wait until we actually sign this, and then we can say it's 50, because we're following the county. Yes. Yes, sir.
How about the activity here at the library? Is it-
Less than 50 people at one time. And we're limiting the computer usage to one. It used to be that if they wanted more, we would extend, but now we put signs, 21 hours, so that they come do the work, unless they have to take the test or do an application, then they will give them more time.
And of course, the disinfecting with the.
Yes, we're doing disinfecting computers, the mines, everything, chairs, tables, everything, we're doing.
I guess, just for the record, our services through sanitation, trash pickup is still normal. We're not, I'm just want to put that on the record that
Yes.
there's not going to be any changes on that.
Right.
Okay? So, any other questions for the directors or any comments at this time? No? If not, we'll just go ahead and adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 5:31 PM.